The 2022 AFL draft is coming up at the end of the month, but even though it is over 20 days away, it's never too early to turn our attention to it. And what better way to do so than discuss our earliest draft pick, pick 4, and go over the potential draftees that could be donning the sash next season. So let's go. I will start by saying our pick 4 is destined to become pick 5 with a matched bid for star youngster Will Ashcroft, but let's look at the players that we are likely to pick from. Cadman is all but destined to be picked up by GWS with their first pick, so we won't be getting a good look at him. He is the prized key forward of the draft. At 195 centimeters, he plays taller than he is and has generated comparisons to Geelong star Jeremy Cameron. The left footer was an All-Australian in the NAB League, having kicked 4 hauls of 4 goals or more in his time with Vic Country. Harry Sheezel is another who will probably be gone by the time our pick comes around, with North reportedly very keen on the talented midfielder forward. He caught the eyes of everybody with his NAB League Grand Final performance, kicking 4 goals, which in turn led to him being selected in the All-Australian NAB League team, like Cadman. Also, like Cadman, he probably isn't an option for us. He is North to take, so let's move on. George Wardlaw is the player most Bomber fans are praying slides down the order. He is a huge fan of the club, but is too good for North to pass on with their pick 3 or 4. Draft expert Cal Toomey ranked him as the second best player in the draft, not far behind star Will Ashcroft, and it's clear to see why. He is a terrific competitor in the midfield, only at 182 centimeters, but is a brilliant aerialist, a terrific leaper, without combined stats due to his recent injury though. That's his only downside. He has had a few hamstring injuries in his junior years, but it looks as if he'll be gone by the time we pick, like Cadman and Sheezel. The most attractive prospect that we are actually in line for has to be the explosive Vic Metro midfielder, Tsatas. Cal Toomey actually rated the guy as the 3rd best in the current pool, and it's clear to see why. He is an inside-outside hybrid midfielder, much like Dylan Sheezel. He can win the footy and get plenty of clearances, but in open play is just as effective. He had a stress fracture which kept him out of most of the NAB League, but he averaged 32 disposals in his 4 games, dominating out of the guts when he played. He is one that frankly could be picked up as early as pick 2. He is that highly touted, but Essendon fans will be hoping he slides down, which is looking likely. Gippsland power captain Bailey Humphrey has had his fair share of struggles, being overlooked in the Vic Country team initially, before making his way into the side and proving his worth. He is clearly a mentally strong young man, a great attribute for any team, but works even harder on his game, improving and becoming one of the best young midfielders in the crop. He also had a knee injury that kept him out of NAB League games, returning to emphatically control the championship match, proving a real top 10 bolter in the draft. He has had one of the strangest draft years, coming out of nowhere to be a top 5 contender, and it's because of his improvement from 2021 to 2022 for Gippsland that this is so. He has become a real goal-kicking threat as well as a ball winner, kicking 21 goals for the Power this season. He is one that will most likely slide to teams in the bottom half of the 10, but is an enticing prospect regardless. It is always risky picking up a player from Western Australia, but Reuben Ginbey seems one worth the risk. This young inside midfielder is as versatile as they come. It is not often that you have an inside ball who can also fill holes down in defence and up forward, but Ginbey can do that. He actually started his 2022 campaign down back, but earned All-Australian NAB League honours through his change to the gut, an impressive move to say the least. But even more impressively, the kid was named the Western Australian MVP ahead of talents like Jed Buslinger, Jed Hagan and Elijah Hewitt. He is one of the players I'm most interested in, especially because we need gutsy mids for the future, and it helps that he can fill a role off halfback to start his career, much like Andy McGrath did. A really exciting prospect. Another exciting interstate prospect is South Australian excitement machine Mattaes Phillipou. Essendon are known for poaching South Aussies, with players like Redmond, Draper, Snelling and Zerk Thatcher all starting from the City of Churches. Phillipou could follow suit. He is a real contender for that pick 5 range because of how great he is across the midfield and forward line. He has played both under 18s and reserve level footy for Sandford side Woodville West Torrens, averaging 28 touches and 1.5 goals in under 18s, and doing plenty at Resi's level as well. He unfortunately sustained an ankle injury which saw him miss out on carnival games, but he has been a top prospect for the last 2 seasons, even last year when he was in the mix for a draft spot as a bottom ager. He is immensely talented. He is athletic, clean and great overhead. His consistency is his only issue, but that's understandable for someone his age. I am sure he will grow and develop into a fine player for whatever club he ends up at. Cats fans will be hoping we don't pounce on Geelong Falcon prospect Jhye Clark, who looks like future captain material. He built his game around former Cats legend Joel Selwood, which is probably why he captained his Falcons and was brilliant in the process. He is highly touted. Many believe this is a future staple player for whatever club he lands at. He isn't explosive, he isn't exciting, but he is a consistent leader out of the midfield. He was named the Vic Country MVP ahead of Aaron Cadman, who I've already discussed earlier in the video. Clark seems destined to end his career as a Cat though. He just has Geelong written all over him, but as someone who many many believe to be a future 300 gamer, it's hard not to be a little bit tempted by him. And finally, the final prospect Essendon will be eyeing off is Vic Metro midfielder Cam Mackenzie. Mackenzie is an NGA Academy player from St Kilda, but with new rules cannot be matched with a bid before pick 40, so it's free real estate for the athletic Sandringham Dragon prospect. He is really clean and really poised. His decision making is a standout. Many say he is the smartest player in the draft, which is a big plus. He's a really crafty stoppage ball winner who probably needs work on his outside game, but is definitely the type of player that the Dons would love to have in their future squad. So those are the type of players we are looking at. Let me know which one you want in the red and black, and let me know if there are any other pre-draft videos you want to see from me, and of course subscribe to see more like this.